All right. So this is what I wanted to talk about in the last one. If particles make up atoms, atoms make up elements, elements make up molecules, molecules make up cells, cells make up organs, and organs make up you, why would you, along with all other life, not make up Earth, as Earth and the other planets are the solar system, and the solar system is a part of the galaxy, and so on? Is Earth not a god, in a sense, to us, as we would be gods to ourselves and even smaller organisms? Is not the sun? Did they not create us? Did they not bring us light? Did they not create life? Can the earth not spite man with natural disasters? Can the earth not see and know us all as we are all upon it? And we not all are we not all earth's children? That's the end of that. So basically, there's two parts of this. One part is more on a religious scale, or a religious focus, and the other one is on just the scale of the universe and where we fit into it. And I think that basically what I'm trying to say in the beginning part here is, if everything before us, right, is made up from smaller parts, including us. If we're made up of smaller parts and our smaller parts are made of smaller parts and those smaller parts are made of smaller parts and it keeps going down, why would it stop at us? Realistically, if like the molecules that make up our body are us, right? Then everything on the earth is the earth. And therefore we are just like cells of earth. And I guess it's kind of like a weird thought, weird thing to say, maybe. It doesn't necessarily like make sense. But why wouldn't Earth be a living organism as well? Just on a bigger scale. Why is the planet not also alive? Why wouldn't it also be alive? If we're alive and everything below us is like alive, or at least has some kind of laws that guide it and like interactions that they follow, like, maybe an atom is not alive in our sense, but it behaves in ways that we can predict. And in my opinion, that shows some kind of intelligence on some scale in some way. I'm not saying that every atom is necessarily alive and choosing what it does, but I also am not necessarily saying that every squirrel is alive and choosing every action that it does. I don't know what's inside the head of a squirrel. A squirrel looks for nuts. A squirrel buries nuts. Does a squirrel know that its actions are the same as every other squirrel before it? Does it know that it's not a unique life form, and that even though it is a squirrel and technically there isn't any squirrel exactly like it, it is also still fit into that box and seems very similar in its actions, and its behavior is predictable. Maybe humans are less so, but on some scale, still predictable. Basically, what I'm saying is an atom has a predictable behavior, and so does a squirrel. So in my opinion, there's not a crazy amount of difference there. But that may be a gross oversimplification, and you may say, Sam, that makes no sense at all. That does not justify anything. And to be honest, I don't care. Anyway, moving forward, what if, zooming out crazy, that every atom is basically What if like the planets and the galaxies and the solar system, like the planets, the solar system and the galaxies, they all make up atoms, just on a scale so big we can't comprehend it. Because what's in between like the electrons and the nucleus of an atom? Nothing. It's supposed to be empty space. In theory, there's probably, someone that's way more knowledgeable on this than me is going to say, actually, there is something there. That's not my point. Because, in my opinion, there's stuff in space too. So, you've proven nothing. Anyway, going forward, what if, basically our universe is just so tiny? We think our universe is huge because we're so tiny. But really, we're not even... What we think is this massive universe is like one atom. And that kind of got off track from what I was trying to talk about a little bit too. But the point is what I'm saying is what if our scale is so skewed and we think that we're these great big things in the world, in the universe, and our universe fits inside an atom? What if billions of years in perspective to us is not even a millisecond? You think that you're living your life. Our timeline is based on our perception. An hour is something we made up. The universe does not run on hours. What we think is a long span of time, 100 years, that's a lot of time. The universe lasts. I'm going to blurt that. Damn. The universe laughs at that. It says 100 years, that's nothing. So who's to say that these interactions we think are these really slow, like the Earth orbiting and slowly, like the sun burning and slowly it's going to expand or whatever and absorb the sun, the Earth. What if what we think is this crazy long time, we won't, humanity will probably be dead by the time this happens kind of scale, is something that's happening like that? How would we know? How could we, who's to say that that's not the case? We only know what we know. Anything that we're perceiving at our scale of time. We don't know how fast things actually are and should be. Maybe the fastest things can go is the speed of light because we're restricted to such a small scale. I don't know. That's my tangent. I clearly was passionate about that because I blurted a swear. Can you believe this? I'm not supposed to do that. Yeah. Actually, going into the whole religious aspect, I wouldn't consider myself crazy religious, but I do feel that there's got to be some kind of creator in some way. There's some intelligence to the universe, as I was saying with the whole atoms are predictable. The fact that there is some predictability to the universe leads me to conclude that there is some sort of intelligence on some scale in some way. Do I know what that is? Am I going to praise it for making me be alive and live in the world? I'm not going to sing its praises because I didn't ask to be here. And that's my opinion on religion pretty much. I don't think any God that demands praise is worthy of it. Praise is given freely, it's the whole thing. Respect is earned. I do think that it's fine to be appreciative of the world and, say, wow, This is beautiful. This is incredible. This is crazy. Like, thank you. Thank you for this experience. But I don't think that I have to do that. I don't think that that should be a requirement for me to get into this afterlife perfect world, which, in my opinion, eternal life doesn't necessarily sound all that great. I mean, eternity is a long time. Anyway, moving on from that. Basically, I think that, you should give a little more respect to the earth because on some scale, the earth has made you. And on some scale, the sun has made you. And I think that way back in the day, the people worship the sun and they worship the earth. And I think that we don't give them enough credit for that. Some people say, you may look at that and be like, how silly of them to worship the sun. The sun was life. The sun was everything. Without the sun, you couldn't grow food. You couldn't see. You couldn't, live. Why wouldn't you worship the sun for rising each day? That's just the logical conclusion. To not worship the sun for rising each day is hubris. You have no power over the sun rising tomorrow or not. So for you to take it for granted, I don't know, blasphemy or something. Talking about how, your God is, all seeing, all knowing or whatever. I don't think that that's realistic, to be honest. But what is realistic is that you can see the effect the sun is having on the earth. You can see what its work in action. Everything on the planet is alive because of the sun. If the sun were to go away, so does life. And that's just, or at least a majority of it. A majority of life on the planet is going away without the sun. And that just kind of goes to show that the sun is, in a way, our God, or at least a God, And then, on the other hand, we've got, the earth is also, a power over us. We are children of the earth. We are the earth's children. You were born through the earth. You can't be disconnected from the earth because everyone on the planet is from the earth. There's no getting around that. So taking the earth for granted and treating it terribly is also just such a disrespectful action for such a great gift, And I'm not saying necessarily that you've got to start praising the sun and praising the earth, but you should at least give them the respect they deserve. And, I'm not trying to convert anyone here, but I'm just trying to give you some perspective. I'm not trying to start a religion. I'm just saying, maybe when you see the sunrise in the morning, you just think about how blessed you are to have another day. Maybe when you wake up and you realize that you're alive, you thank the earth for being here. What's the worst it can do? I'm not saying you gotta write tomes about how wonderful the great works of the earth and how powerful it is. And I think the earth is not begging for your praises. It just is. The earth just is as much as you just are. So I don't think you necessarily need to do anything, but I don't know. Do you think if you had a little ant farm, the ants are going to thank you for keeping them alive one more day? I don't know. If you're expecting praises from the ants, that's ridiculous. What is the praise of the ants worth to you anyway? They're ants. That's just my opinion. So I'm not crazy on religion because I think most of religion is just a man-made structure that is corrupted on a lot of levels, and so I don't like it a lot. I do think that there's some good beliefs and good practices, but I'm not one to um, necessarily say this is the way, the only way. Um, Having that kind of a mindset seems more like a human thing than a God thing. Um, that's a cruel God if they make it there is no other way to live your life except their way. You know, why are you even alive then? What are you here for if you have no choice? If you have um, no say in how you live your life? What kind of God are they really? Did they really give you a life? If it's all planned out for you and there's no choices, was that really a gift? If you give someone a credit card, not a credit card, a gift card, and you tell them they have to buy sandwiches with it, they can only buy sandwiches with it, and those sandwiches are going to be for like say I bought it, like I give a gift card to my friend and I say, hey, here's a gift card. Go buy me sandwiches with this gift card and only sandwiches. And if you buy anything else, we're not friends anymore. It suddenly doesn't seem like such a good gift, you know? But that's just my opinion. And I don't know. Just be a good person because being a good person is what you should do. You want to be treated nicely, treat other people nicely. Um, and everything can work out. I don't know. I'm not saying it will work out. As I've said before, not everything makes sense. Not everything has to follow order and patterns. So just because you've treated everyone perfect in your life and no one has ever been wronged by you doesn't mean that you can never be wronged. It doesn't mean that the world can just throw a bunch of crap at you for no reason, seemingly. But you can get through it, and you may be better for it. And at the time, that seemed like a terrible thing that you went through, but now all of a sudden you're a whole lot better uh, for it. You never know. And sometimes you just end up dead, and then you're dead. So it's like, who cares, really, honestly? So yeah. Anyway, peace out.